We are back again on Impact Stories with another inspiring guest. Today's guest is more than the titles he has carried. Beyond being a father to his own children, he's a father figure in the higher education space, a leader who chooses integrity when compromise seems easier. He has lived a life that challenges all who have encountered him to ask, what does it mean to stand for the truth when the world pushes you to bend? This is Impact Stories, and his legacy is written in gold. My name is Mamiukwa Utoakwanyame. We'll be back after this short break. You're welcome back from the quick break, and today we sit with a distinguished scholar. He's an administrator and a leader whose influence spans Nigeria and Africa. Professor Olusola Oyewole Bandele. He has served as Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and is currently the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities. Prof, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And it's a privilege to have this one-on-one conversation with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, many who have encountered you, including myself, know you for your work in academia. But beyond your titles, beyond your achievements, who is Professor Oyewole?
Yeah. Firstly, I would just say that I'm just somebody favored by God to have risen through the ladder. And today, I'm a professor of food science and technology with specialization in microbiology and biotechnology. And I've been able to put up a total of over 40 years in higher education. Really, I started my first teaching assignment in the university on the 21st of May, 1985. I've been able to grow over the years by the grace of God to who I am today. In the course of these past 40 years, I've served as the head of the Department of Food Science and Technology at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. I've also been able to serve in AAU, Australian African Universities, between 2006 and 2009 as a project officer and later as a coordinator of some other projects, including the World Bank Projects of Quality Assurance for Africa. I've also served as a senior expert on higher education with the African Union Commission. And then between 2012 and 2017, I served as the Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and between 2021 and now, I've been serving as the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities. To me, all these positions are not because I'm super intelligent, it's just the grace of God that has brought me to all the positions that I've served in.
Fantastic. Prof, I want to get to know who the young Oyewole was.
Yeah.
So can you take us to your roots?
Yeah, the young Oyewole was born into a polygamous family. And with all the challenges in a polygamous home, I experienced them all. But I would say that a big change took place in my life when I was 17. I personally gave my life to Jesus Christ, and that has influenced everything about my life since then. I believe that between 2017 and now, for everything that has happened, I've had to depend on God to guide me, and God has been good to me in all my decisions and journeys.
Yeah, Prof, you just mentioned that you grew up in a polygamous home and you had to go through all the things that people who grow up in such setting go through. But Prof, could you please give us specifics? How was life going?
My wife had children from about 4 different women, and he had a policy that not more than one would be sent to secondary school from each of the women. And by the grace of God, I happened to be one of those that had the opportunity of going to a secondary school. And to note that he also had a policy that he won't sponsor any of his children beyond the secondary school. To the extent that after I finished my secondary school education, he emphatically told me that that was the end of my education. And what that means is that beyond my secondary school, I have to decide on where I was going to. And by the grace of God, on my own, since age 18, I've been able to go through a formal university education, not with the support of my parents, but just by the grace of God. And here I am. I've been able to go through a master's and PhD program. And then I became a professor 24 years ago.
Okay, Prof, you were born in northern Nigeria, but then your roots trace back to Abeokuta. And when you reflect on all these years, what memories come to mind?
The memories is that the beginning was rough, but the grace of God was strong. I did not come from a very influential family. In fact, it's not a family that you say that we own a car or even have a television at home. But we were able to benefit from a good public school educational process. And this has been able to facilitate my initial beginning.
Okay. Prof, so today many know you as a pastor, but then I believe that journey had to start from somewhere. And at what point did you encounter Christ? And then how did your family respond to that, given that their beliefs may be different from yours?
I really became a born-again Christian when I was in Form 4. That was April 1972. The initial response of my parents was not good. But I moved ahead. But I was well behaved at school. And incidentally, a year afterward, after my becoming born again, I was made the chapel prefect of the school in my final year. And at that same year, I served as the president of the scripture union of my school. And these are the initial leadership responsibilities that I have that have paved way to where I am today.
Great. And so we've spoken to quite a number of personalities on this show, and one thing cut across, it looks like most of them, when it comes to how the educational journey began, it was on a rough path. I want to know what your story is.
Just as I mentioned at the beginning, I won't say it was rough, but to say that I've enjoyed the grace of God all through. I told you that my parents sponsored me up to secondary school. After my secondary school education, I have to work for about 3 years in an oil company, Halliburton Nigeria Limited in Port Harcourt. And through the grace of God, I was very clear that my place was not in the oil industry, but in higher education. I resigned that appointment and went ahead to apply for university admission. And just as I said, by the grace of God, the organization, Halliburton Nigeria Limited, offered me vacation employment. And the salary was good enough for me to take care of my education for each of the years.
Wow.
And that's how I was able to finish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And Prof, growing up, what did you want to become?
What will I want to become?
Yeah, growing up.
Growing up, I took a decision that I want to go into academics while I was in the university. And I've just become what I want to become. To also note that from the beginning, I decided that no matter what I do, I want to be my best. I put in my best into everything. I've been committed to excellence in whatever I do. And I also operate with the fear of God. I took the Bible as my guiding book and decide to live a life that is pleasing unto God and a life that will glorify God in whatever I do.
Fantastic. What drew you to food science? What drew you to enter into that sphere?
Food science.
Yes, Prof.
I really did not study food science. I studied microbiology. But at the master's level, at the University of Ibadan, I did research connected with food. And that is exactly what led me to food. And then I found special favor of God in my research work. Just at the beginning of my research work, I was granted a grant by the International Foundation of Science. And this opened way for me to get access to other grants that have supported my research work. All my research work has been focused on issues connected with food production, fermentation processes, preservation, and all this involved the role of microorganisms in food. And incidentally, by the time I was to become a professor, the assessors felt that I was qualified to be a professor of food science and technology.
Great. And in your academic career, you have actually worked on numerous community-focused projects, especially relating to food. And during your time at FUNAB, your research group even established a cassava processing plant. I'm interested in knowing why it has always mattered to you that science serve the people.
Yeah, one, I believe that education should groom a person. I'll tell you, when I was the acting head of my department, Food Science and Technology, for 7 years, one of the things I developed was to see that our young people have some entrepreneurial experiences. While in the school, we developed a pseudo company that we call Challenge Foods, where students themselves do their student industrial work experience within that Challenge Foods setup. And in that setup, the students are the managers, they are the accountants, and they are the production personnel of the place. I believe that our education should be relevant to our development. I also believe that universities should impact the community and the society in which they are located.
Great. And during these moments, were there ever times when you felt there were challenges, and how did you sail through them?
Oh, there are always challenges. In leadership, we should always experience challenges. And to me, sometimes I don't look at them as problems. They are things that when they erupt, when they come up, you just go to God and seek God guidance, and you move ahead and flow on.
And were there ever mentors in your life? It could be a teacher, a church leader, or even a senior academic that gave you a first glimpse of what you could become in life?
Nobody rises up on its own. There are people that make themselves available to help you up. I will say that my master's and PhD supervisor is by name Professor S.A. Odufa. He contributed a lot to my academic development in that in his own career, he had access to international grants, and all of us who worked under him just took after him. And indeed, he opened the way for me to get my first international grants with the International Foundation of Science. I will say that I followed after him. But beyond that, you find out that you learn from various people. For me, I cannot tell you the number of people that have mentored me, because there are people that I can count as mentors, not because we have direct physical contact, but reading through their books. I read a lot. And while reading books written by people, I learn from them and I become mentored by them through their books. There are so many that you cannot just start to name them.
All right. Thank you, Prof. And you've received many international recognitions, especially for your contributions to food microbiology. And most recently, you were inducted into the International Academy of Food Sciences and Technology. I want to find out what these recognitions mean to you.
What it means to me is just a recognition of the grace of God that I've enjoyed. There are many professors in that same field who do not have that opportunity. But for one to be recognized is something that I will just attribute to God's favor. But it's also a call on me to see that I have a responsibility to help the younger ones, to mentor other younger ones and tell them what they can do to also rise up in life.
Great. And of all these recognitions, are there any ones that stand out for you?
I don't really wear them on my head. I get the recognitions and move forward. So sometimes you may not even see me putting on my names, fellow of so. Sometimes I receive fellowship of academic organization, and it doesn't appear on my titles.
All right, that's fine, Prof. So many say you transformed FUNAB during your time as Vice Chancellor, but from your own perspective, how would you describe those years?
To me, I don't think I really transformed. What I did was to change the way people operate. Sincerely speaking, the institution I got was an institution that was, misguided into various corruption systems. Unfortunately to me, the environment expects you as a leader to steal and then share your loot among the people you work with. When I became a vice chancellor, I decided to be different. One, I took a vow that a single kobo that does not belong to me, I will not take it. I also committed myself to ensure that we do things in transparent ways. No issue of leader, vice chancellor, collecting gratification from contractors for any purpose. When I came in, it was rather strange to the system. It was a system that thinks that you are overall. I gave people opportunity to express themselves, and we take decisions collectively. And I was transparent to an extent to let people know how I operate. There are challenges with the Nigerian system. To me, one of the problems of the Nigerian system is that of corruption. And it was difficult for them to see somebody who will come and say that, I don't want to be corrupted by this system. And God help me. When you take that type of a stand in the Nigerian system, you will be challenged. There will be attacks. Those attacks came, but I can tell you that God helped me to overcome them all. I do not regret standing by the principles I've stood by. Today, nobody can tell me, nobody can confront me and say that you've stolen a kobo from the Federal University of Agriculture. And I should also mention that I kept myself morally right. No girl or no woman can say that I look at their faces or do I believe that righteousness is very important at leadership position.
Okay, but Prof, I would like to know some of the setbacks that you mentioned that probably arise due to your principles.
Yeah, setbacks in that as a vice chancellor, you cannot operate in a vacuum. I was under the council of the university. Unfortunately, the council members are politicians, and they expect that you should not give out projects to contractors without getting some gratifications. The common thing in the Nigerian system is that for most of the projects that they give out, they want to get kickbacks of 10%. And I openly confronted the council to tell them that I will not allow that in the university. That resulted to some confrontation between me and the council of the university for some time, but I stood my ground. And I told them that if they're going to get gratification from the contractors, they should tell the contractors that the vice chancellor has nothing to do with it. And luckily enough, they told them. And everybody knew my principle and my stand. I do not regret not stealing what belongs to me, what does not belong to me. And I think that is better. And at least I've laid a system, people know that you can be righteous, even in high positions.
Great. Prof, during your time at FUNAB, you faced allegations with the Economic and Financial Crisis Commission over some financial mismanagement, and these allegations were later dismissed. But could you throw some light on that?
It was not connected with me. It was more of a political setup. As I mentioned, if you want to be righteous in the Nigerian system, corruption will get at you. And they were trying to get, not at me, but at themselves. And since I was the overall boss of the university, they found a way of creeping me in. But at least the truth came out, and people knew that here was an administration that stood for truth and that stood for honesty.
Great. And you've always stood by the principle of leading with integrity, but then integrity sometimes can come at a cost. And so I want to find out from you, if you could share a time when living by this principle was painful, very painful, but you held on to it.
Yes. Okay. Just the case that you've just mentioned. The government of Nigeria gave a huge amount of money to Nigerian universities, but that fund was not addressed at the vice chancellor, but at the council. When that money arrived at my university, I spoke to the council that since it was not addressed at me, the council chairman and the council should decide on how they were going to distribute the money to those that should have it. Strangely enough, I decided not to be involved. Only for me to now find out that there was a petition to say that I misappropriated that same amount of money.
Whoa.
Which I never collected a single kobo from. And that was the major focus of the petition to the EFCC. But good enough, the truth came out. And surprisingly, people themselves who thought that they were going to attack me came out to say the truth. And I think I should just thank God for that. To say that integrity pays. In that after my tenure, I can raise up my head anywhere and tell everybody that I'm a child of God.
But would you say you were able to make any impact at FUNAB?
Yes, at least leadership. We've been able to establish that you can be a leader and can be righteous. We've also established that you can serve with honesty. You don't need to steal while serving people. I've also been able to prove to people that leadership is a trust. Trust from God. And we should not misuse that trust to betray the people we are supposed to serve. The opportunity to serve as a vice chancellor is not an opportunity to steal for yourself and for your children. I've proved to them that that does not pay, and that you can still be a Christian even while serving as a leader.
Fantastic. Now, Prof, in 2021, your career took a new turn when you became Secretary General of the association. Unfortunately, it was in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'd like to find out what was the most unexpected leadership lesson that you learned during that season?
Yeah. One thing with me, with my coming in as the Secretary General of AAU, was that before my coming in, I've had about almost 15 years association with the Association of African Universities. I know the strength of AAU. I know the weaknesses. I know where AAU should be going to, where they should be heading to. And coming in, I came in with a vision to make AAU a strong organization, an organization that will make impact in the African continent, an organization that will help our universities to deliver on their mandates. And I think that that's the vision with which I've come in. And luckily for me, I met a group of workers who are dedicated and who are professionals in whatever they do. They've contributed a lot to the success of AAU. So the success we've been recording in AAU today is not because of me, but because of all of us. And I think that I've enjoyed working in the environment.
Thank you very much, Prof. Yeah. So I would come back to the bit where you mentioned the success you've achieved in AAU is not just because of you, but as the effort of an entire team. But then we would go for a quick break, and once we are back, we'll continue this conversation with Professor Olusola Oyewole of the Association of African Universities.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
You're welcome back from the break, and we are still having an enlightening conversation with Professor Olusola Oyewole. And before we left, he was just about to run us through some of the key achievements that AAU as an institution has been able to achieve under his leadership through his capable team. Prof,
Yeah. When I came into AAU in 2021 as the Secretary General, I came in with some values. One, commitment. So I decided that I was going to be committed to the assignment that I've been given. Two, excellence. I was decided that whatever we do in AU, we do it with excellence. Three, integrity. I wanted to change the narrative of the rest of the world that Africans are not truthful. I committed myself to operate the affairs of AU with integrity. Four, I know that in AU, you cannot work alone. I was ready to work with different cadres of people in AU, and to also say that AU is highly blessed with some young, intelligent people you can entrust assignments to, and they will run with it. And I believe that through this, we're able to prove to the world that we operate in Africa with excellence. And this commitment has helped us to attract partners to AU. All our projects have been executed excellently well, that many of them want to work with us. Within the past 4 years, we now have different development partners who are interested in AU because of the value with which we operate in the organization. The success of AAU, just as I mentioned earlier on, is not just due to me, but to the excellent people that are in AU, and we work together as a team. Teamwork is one of the strengths of AU. No individual can lay claim to being the one that has caused all the big achievements in AU. It's been a teamwork. And I think that we've also been blessed in AU with people from different experiences. And we've all committed ourselves to this.
All right, thank you, Prof. Now, you've led in areas like digital research platforms, cross-border academic harmonization, and community-based learning. Now, I want to find out if there are any new initiatives currently underway that you are particularly excited about.
Yes, there are 2 or 3 new initiatives that I'm personally excited about. The first one is the African Research, Innovation, and Development Platform. It's a platform that will help us to improve research activities within the African continent. The strength of this is that now in AU, any research publication that is made in a Scopus-based publication in Africa will be captured on this platform. I think that this is a plus in that we'll be able to show to the world research contributions from Africa. It's also going to give us opportunity to get together people working in the same research field. Through this platform, getting partnership, regional integration within Africa through higher education will become possible. Another important initiative that I'm excited with is our collaboration with our European Office of AU, where we are developing a capacity building initiative for young researchers in Africa. I think that in Africa, we are having some aging researchers. We need to build people for the future. This is another initiative that I believe so much in supporting in Africa. For some time, people thought that AU is an association of vice chancellors. We've been able to dissuade them from that thinking, to let them know that AU is for higher education. We are committed to improving the capacities of different stakeholders in African higher education system, including not just the vice chancellors, the registrars, the librarians, the bursary or the accountants, the deans of colleges, including the students. They should not be left out in AU operations. And we are also proud in that we have credible partners who love our values and are working with us.
Great. And in 2029, when your tenure comes to an end, what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Yeah, I will be leaving behind a strong association of African universities with committed vision for excellence, for commitment, for an organization that delivers on projects. I also feel that I'll be leaving behind some young people who I met probably at the beginning, but they've been raised up. One of the things I do in AU is to encourage our young people to improve themselves. I feel happy when I see people with master's degree going ahead to do PhD. I think that I will be so proud to have many PhDs among the staff of AU. That's one of my visions.
Thank you, Prof. Now, you've spoken boldly about Africa's leadership crisis, and in your view, what's that one mindset shift that you think could change our trajectory on the continent when it comes to leadership?
Leadership. One, for the African, I think that we should deal with corruption. We waste a lot of resources as a result of corruption. Two, we should also rethink our value system in Africa. Teamwork should be one of the values with which we should be operating, because no single person can achieve anything. So we should learn how to work together. And in learning how to work together, the concept of forgiving each other even when we do hurt each other, not pushing anybody down, trying to help others to rise up. And when you are helping others to rise up, you are also rising up. That's one. Now our leaders should be accountable. They should be accountable to the people who put in them there. And then I've seen many cases when people become leaders without vision. As a leader, you need to have a vision for wherever you are. Without vision, you cannot achieve. And a visionless leader will pull down the organization. So one of the work of the leader is to be able to know where your organization ought to go to.
Yeah.
And make sure that you challenge the people to follow you to get there. So vision is very critical.
Great. And Prof, if you had the resources to design a university focused solely on growing ethical visionary leaders for Africa, what would it look like, and what kind of graduates would you hope it produces? Really,
I will be focused on graduates with some skills and competencies. My emphasis will not be on the degree or on your class. My emphasis will be to build the total man. By total man, I mean build the person academically, also build the person spiritually. Build the person, the graduates, that will be able to adjust to different challenging situations and build up graduates that can solve problems.
But Prof, how do you build a person spiritually in a university?
Oh, in the university, to me, it's not just by preaching. It's by being the example that other people can follow. I'm not sure that I've carried the Bible to start to preach about in AAU. But I think that I leave the example of the Bible for anybody who wants to follow.
Great. Prof, now let's quickly shift to your family. They say behind every successful man is a remarkable woman. Yeah. I'd like to know how your wife has been part of your journey and what her contributions have been.
I think that one of the strengths of my life, apart from God, is my wife. We got married May 25, 1985. That's over 40. We really celebrated 40 years in marriage this year. As a husband, I respect her. I honor her. So she's like, I don't think I'm superior to her. We are partners in progress. So whatever achievements I've made with her. As a husband, I believe that faithfulness to your spouse is very central. I've been faithful to my wife without any distraction. And that has helped us to work together. And I believe that if your home is right, you will make progress in other areas of your life. If your home is problematic, you will have challenges in where you work. And we've been blessed by God to have 4 great children. I think my first child is now 39 years old. She's a consultant librarian in Canada. My second child is a lawyer in the UK. Incidentally, my first child is running a PhD program now. My third child is a lecturer in the university who is also running a PhD in the UK. And our last child is a lawyer. And the last child is now 27.
Wow.
So my wife and I were more or less going back to where we started from. So all our children are independent, they're on their own. But the good thing that makes me happy today is that all of them live with Christian and biblical principles. They follow our examples.
Prof, you grew up in a polygamous home.
Yes.
However, you've been able to raise a whole different kind of family. I'm interested in knowing how you were able to break that cycle.
Yeah. When I grew up in a polygamous home, I've been able to see the challenges or the disadvantages in a polygamous setup. Even before I got married, I took a decision that I will be faithful to my wife, I will not be polygamous. So it was a decision taken along with my Christian commitment. So that's why I have some problems. I don't look at ladies' faces. So I don't even know whether you are beautiful or not. I'm committed to my wife alone.
But Prof, that is not a problem. I think that's a plus.
I don't know. Okay.
All right,
so it has helped me to really be faithful at home. When you are faithful to your marriage, you make progress in life. I've seen many young people whose destinies have been destroyed by not being faithful to their marriages. And I've decided not to repeat the same mistake.
Great. Now, for 40 years of marriage, what are the 3 key lessons you have learned that you can pass on to young couples? 1,
the fear of God. Fear God. In whatever you do, let the word of God be your guide. 2, faithfulness. No matter any attraction, also realize that marriage is a covenant. And if you've made a covenant with somebody, stand by that covenant and don't break it. When people break covenant, they expose themselves to some other negative forces that derails their destiny.
Great. And at age 70, many people tend to slow down, but you are still leading at a continental level. What keeps you going?
I don't feel 70. I really feel 45. I think what also keeps me going is that I have some great visions. I have some things that I'm committed to, which I'm not going to stop at. I personally want to help more people. I want to make impact. So at age 70, I don't feel it. It's as if I'm just I feel 45.
Okay, Prof, when we gather to honor you on September 30th, which happens to be your birthday, your 70th birthday, what should we expect as you celebrate this platinum milestone at 70? Yeah,
I think that many people who will be coming to see different things. Some of them will be coming to see a Joseph of the time. Somebody who has been able to make a difference. Somebody who is not afraid to be different. Some other people will be coming to look for a Daniel who survived various traps and they've not been able to get at. On the long run, people will be coming to see what God can do in a life submitted to God.
Fantastic. But Prof, aside these, do we expect any other thing from you on your birthday, like say a book?
Yes, I've just written 3 books. One of them, I call it Courage to be Different, which captures my vision and my experiences in leadership. The purpose behind that book is to challenge upcoming leaders, to let them know that you can lead with integrity, to also let them know that you can overcome challenges that may come your way, no matter where they are coming from. The second book is a book that I called Don't Die Before Your Time.
Whoa.
Yeah, it will be an interesting book. You've not seen that. I realized that many young people die before their time. Some people are living, but they are dead. When you are living, you have no vision. You are dead. You don't know where you are going.
Yeah.
And I also realize that there are many things that people do that make them to, when you've lost the purpose for which you are created, I think you are dead. So that book is supposed to challenge people to live purposefully and to live intentionally. You have a reason why you are living. My third book, I call it Financially Stable. You know, it's a book that I've written to challenge people that you don't need to steal in order to be prosperous. And it teaches people on what to do. I call it investing for a fulfilled life. What can you do to invest your life to have a life that is fulfilled? That is what the third book is about.
Wow. Prof, you are indeed a man of many talents. I never knew you were into financial
the book is on investment.
Stuff. Great. But Prof, since we have you here, I am personally interested in the book on financial stability. Could you give us a glimpse of what to expect in the book?
Yeah, what is in that book is that you have to invest in so many areas of your life to be fulfilled. Your spiritual investment is very central. Invest in your knowledge of the Word of God. Invest in prayer. Invest in a holy life. Beyond that investment, beyond your spiritual investment, the second major investment is your family. Decide that you want to build a great family. Invest in your family. Then invest in your career. In my university life, I think that I'm one of the most published in my university.
Wow.
In that I put in all my best into my academic work. I access multiple research grants. And then I'm able to do good research and publish well. As I mentioned to you, I became a professor 24 years ago. And in the course of this, I've been able to help some various groups. One good thing with my research work is that I don't just deal with science or food science, so to say. In my research work, I deal with social scientists. I mean, in my team, there are social scientists, there are people in the arts, and I believe that it's very inclusive in the way we do. In that, my intention is not to just do research for the purpose of publications. There was a time, about 20 years ago, we got a research grant. And I told all my research team, I was the leader of the team, said, no per diem. I said, no per diem. We are going to build a factory inside this university. After we build the factory, then you can take your per diem.
Wow.
And all I did was to ask the vice chancellor, can you give me a land? And we built, I brought in my bricklayer, and we built a factory for the processing of cassava. And today, people do not remember that I started it. But that is the focus of the University Industrial Park in my university, Federal University of Agriculture today.
Wow.
So we can say that we've done research in the laboratory. We also have evidence of the impact that we've made. Great.
Thank you very much, Prof. We really
and more importantly, too, I believe that the greatest impact of an academician is not in your becoming a professor, but in the lives of people you've impacted. I think that I've been a good example to my students. I've showed them that hard work pays. I've also showed them that honesty, transparency, focus, and commitment are very important in life.
Great. Thank you very much. And Prof, if you could speak to your younger self, the younger version of yourself, the boy watching people pass by on a street corner, wishing for connection, what would you say to him today?
Oh, I would just tell him that, yes, you're giving life a good fight. You've done your best. Keep moving on. You can still make it. And those are the things I keep on telling myself. There are times I will just put something on the wall of my room. You can still make it. Don't give up. Keep moving forward. Those are the things that I see that keeps me keep moving forward.
Great. And finally, if you could sum it all up in one sentence, what does it truly mean to have the courage to be different?
1, it means to have God. Without God in your life, you cannot be different. It means to fear God. It means to allow God to direct you in your life. It does not matter what other people are doing, but you take a decision that you want to be the best there can be, and you want to live a life that will be pleasing unto God.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Prof. It's
Thank
such
you.
an honor. And this conversation has been very enlightening. And thank you to you, our lovely viewer, for sticking with us for this conversation. Now, on September 30, Prof is releasing 3 different books. Do make it a point to get copies of these books. I have had the opportunity of reading one. The one on courage to be different. And I really must confess that it's an amazing book. And one that would impact you, one that would help you in your life, especially as a leader. My name is Mamiukwa Utakwanyame, and this is where we end today's episode of Impact Stories. Thank you for watching.